Welcome to the Transformational Podcast. I'm so glad you're with us today. I'm Chris. I'm the pastor from Paradise, and my brother Marine from Maryland is Robert
Howdy.
over there on the other side of the screen. And if you just heard that bark, that was my dog.
I didn't
in the
actually.
background.
So your dog didn't break squelch there. So maybe I don't know.
Okay.
I have a dog here right now. Did you know that?
Do you? All right.
Yeah, I've got a dog. I've got
What's up, dog?
cousin Kashi. Cousin Kashi. He's a golden mix. If you can see in the far side of my screen, you can see chairs here.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, that'll be the that's the Kashi gate.
Just in Kashi. Just a Kashi gate.
Just in Kashi.
So.
No, he's a good dog.
Oh, that's good. All right, what's going on in your world, man? How's your week?
Well, like I said, I'm dog sitting.
Dog sitting.
And that's been fun. But also, you know what I'm doing this weekend, Chris?
Robert, I'm just excited for you.
Why?
Because you were a dog person growing up, and you finally have a dog in your house again. It may not be yours, but it's one step back towards normalcy. I'm just saying.
Well, hey, man, it was funny. Cousin Kashi had to go to the vet yesterday, because he had something going on, and it was funny because she asked us a dog owner type question, like, is he doing this and that? And I'm like, and Hillary's like, oh yeah, I think so. And I'm like, no, he's not doing that. Like you got to know a dog to know how to answer that question.
Yeah, that's a dog answer.
Like, no, he's not doing that. So anyway, he's been fun. But guess what I'm doing tomorrow, Chris? And I went and picked up my packet yesterday.
What's that?
I'm gonna go run the Marine Corps Marathon.
Wow, what'd you do wrong?
Yeah, I know. Right?
Why are you in trouble?
Well, hey, here's what's funny, Chris. The only reason I'm running this one, and I think I said this on one of the podcasts, but I'll say it again. I ran the 25th Marine Corps Marathon. That was my first. Okay, It's my first Marine Corps Marathon. I ran that with zero training. I ran that with zero preparation. I think I had ran a total of 3 miles that year before going to run the Marine Corps Marathon. But I'm a runner, so I was like, I can do this. No big deal. I'll go run. Anyway, needless to say, it did not go well. But you
finished.
I did finish. I was running with a real good friend of mine, a guy named Fred. And Fred Newbert, if he might be listening anyway. I was running with him.
Hey, Fred, I hope you're listening. It's been a long time. Hope you're doing well. All right.
Yeah, he's doing good. Good. He's up in the Michigans.
Okay.
He's actually like right here on the Michigan.
Okay.
And so the Michiganders will know.
He's pointing to his hand and towards his pinky and ring finger. So go ahead.
Yep. Anyway, they'll know. So we were running that marathon, Chris, and at like 15 miles, he's like, I gotta stop. And next thing you know, I left him behind. He just laid down at mile 15 and I kept running.
Oh my gosh.
I did see him at the end. But I was like, well, I'm not going to.
Had he been training, or did he do this too?
No. He talked me into a bad idea. This is the time where he talked me into a bad idea, not me talking him into a bad idea. Huh. And
look how the turntables turn.
Huh. Yeah, it was pretty funny. And you know what's even more funny? I was thinking about this the other day because when you finish the Marine Corps Marathon, you get a little medal and you walk through a finisher's gate, and then you try to go find the people who you're meeting up with, typically like your cheerleaders. Like, so for me, Hillary will be there. She catches me at the end. For that first Marine Corps Marathon, Hillary was there. We were not dating yet, I don't think. No, she was just a friend. So we weren't dating yet. And she was at the end. And when I mean like in our friend group, like we were like hanging out as a big giant friend group. So like legitimately in my sphere of influence, but not really.
Yeah.
Like not really even a couple yet.
But you're like, ooh, look, I found myself a cheerleader.
Maybe.
No? Okay.
I don't know. Here's the miraculous part of that, Chris. I have no idea how people found each other at the end of a marathon back in the day. Because now you can like use your phone, you can call people, you can ask people where they're going to be. That was an unplanned marathon. I have no idea how I ran into her at the end of the marathon. Now, you get done and you know where to look. You got your phone, you call her, you have they even have letters for last names, like, like A through Z. So you can go meet in your like letter kind of thing. They have rally points, as we call them. And anyway, that was a bad marathon.
Yeah.
Bad marathon. So 15 miles, he went down And then I got out to mile 20, which is where you cross this bridge, and I see this dude face down on the concrete, and I think to myself, oh crap, what did I get myself into?
I don't want to be that guy.
Yes, I started picking up water bottles and cups and anything that had liquid in it, anything that had water in it, and that looked
From
like water.
tables or from the ground?
Chris, I'm not proud to say it was from the ground.
No way, dude.
But I didn't drink enough water running the race. I actually passed water
You pulled
stations.
a Chris move. That is totally something I would have done. Oh
Dude,
my
it was
gosh.
bad. When you're in extremis, then all of a sudden, there was a jelly bean table, Chris. There's a jelly bean table over in Crystal City, which is kind of where it picks back up with people.
Yeah.
And people accidentally like drop their jelly beans and they knock them off the table. I straight picked them up off the ground.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm proud of you, Robert. Proud, so proud.
It was a moment.
There's some people who listen to our podcast that I know personally that are having a hard time right now. Their gag reflex is kicking in. They're struggling. Not me, Robert. I'm all in for that.
You know what I learned from that though, Chris? You know what I learned from that first marathon? I learned to be more prepared.
Yeah, the training is the deal. Yeah, so did you call Fred and talk him into running with you this time?
No, I didn't. Okay. I should call him on my way up to DC today.
Hey, let's call him right now. Just put FaceTime him onto the call, onto this. Onto the recording. I'm just kidding.
Hey, what was up in your week? And then
hold on. I've got a question about this. What number is this? I mean, that was the 25th Marine Corps Marathon.
Oh, yeah. So this is the 50th Marine Corps Marathon.
It was 25 years ago, Robert.
Stop it.
Holy cow. There are people who have been born and graduated from the Naval Academy since the last time you ran this.
You're so bad. I saw that coming. Oh my gosh.
That was
That's
fun.
All right. You're turning 55. So
stop it. You're turning 65. So all right.
Well played. What's going on in your world?
Man, it was a good week, man. Just another good week at the church. I was supposed to have football games this morning. It didn't happen because we had rain last night, and there was standing water on 2/3 of the football field. And I thought it sounded like a lot of fun.
I was going to say, it sounds like fun to me.
Turns out that will tear up our football fields. And yeah, that's hard to recover after you demolish them like that. So,
but you had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, it would be one that people would never forget. But
you remember the night back in the days when we used to play?
Oh man, I do, and I remember soccer that way. Well, I know our pickup football games. I remember going out to the intramural fields there at SFA when they had for some reason they'd just redone a field. Basically, it was all mud. There was no grass on it. And we went out, and that was the greatest.
Yeah, right.
So great.
I know.
Mud is a fun thing. Anyway, but I also remember soccer one year. This might have been the reason I hated soccer, other than I just didn't like to run.
It's probably the running, but go ahead.
Probably the running. But it was cold and wet. And I got back to the house, and I was miserable. And I remember trying to warm up in the shower, but it hurt. The warm water actually hurt because my hands and feet were so cold. And I was like, man, I don't know. Anyway, that was one of those times. But anyway, it was a good week. So bye week in football for JV. So just got ready for Sunday and excited about, we're wrapping up our study in Philippians. It's been fun. It's been a really good series, and
it's been
book. Really, really cool. We've got, I think, close to 20 that we're going to baptize tomorrow.
Awesome, man.
Around 20. So I'm pretty excited about that. I love getting to celebrate baptisms. That's one of, kind of my favorite Sundays for obvious reason. And so we'll see what it turns out to be total wise, but man, I love it. And so today is game day. The Aggies tonight will be facing LSU. By the time this drops, you'll know whether I had a restful evening or a stressful evening. Restful or stressful, we'll see.
Hey, I do have a question though on that. Not to interrupt you, because you're talking about restful, stressful.
Yeah.
So when I was I was calling you for this. I had to wait till we got on, until we got live and got some behind us. Yeah, that's right. I was calling you on the way as we were getting ready to set up, and you said that I may have interrupted a discussion between you and
You
Julie. So I'm
rescued me. You
rescued
rescued me.
rescued you. So I'm
Here's
dying to
the
know, and
thing,
our
Robert.
friends are dying to know as
Oh my
well
gosh.
how your brother rescued you from whatever conversation you had going on with
So
Julie.
so I don't know how you feel about Christmas decorations. I'm pretty wide open. I feel like I'm pretty like, I'm not as ready to go with it as Lowe's is, where it starts showing up
Are we
in
talking about timing?
August. But
Christmas
yes.
decor doesn't come out till Thanksgiving,
Okay.
like end
So
stop
Robert,
period.
this is where you and I'm open. I'm a little more open than that.
Nope.
But I felt like I'd fought it for years, and I finally wrestled, like, felt like we had an agreement that, November 1 was an I felt like we finally
No
negotiated a
way. What went
treaty.
up? What went up?
And to no, she was talking about, well, today we could, I mean, this it's just this week, today I could take down all my fall stuff, and if I take down all my fall stuff, will you get out the Christmas stuff? And I'm like, and the phone rings. I was like, oh, phone call. Perfect. So
Good timing,
anyway,
right?
here's the thing. I don't mind Christmas decor. I actually like it. It feels homey and warm. But
Yeah.
at the same time, holy smokes, man. Like,
Feels homey and warm because it's only like a month or two of the year, right?
yeah, but I always miss it
Yeah.
when we take it down. So I don't know. I'm a little bit more of a Christmas decor guy than some. But at the same time, I still have to draw the line somewhere, you know?
Yes. Yes.
I,
We don't take ours down though till like mid-January. So I will say that. So like we let it go a little bit beyond the new year and then we'll take it down.
I think about it like this. I was impersonating a flamingo, and my wife told me to stop, so I had to put my foot down. I mean, that's how I feel about all of this. Is that
it's the worst dad joke on the planet. You're saying being flamingo to put your foot down.
That's right. That's how I feel about all this.
Oh
Anyway,
goodness,
so it
Chris.
is what it is.
All
So,
right.
Robert, you're running the marathon this week, but this past week you read something that it kind of correlated with,
I did. It like
getting ready.
very much
So,
correlated. And what's funny, Chris, is after I got done reading this scripture, it's in 2 Timothy 4. So if you're following along, let's jump in. 2 Timothy 4. And there was a verse that resonated in this chapter. And as I was reading it, when I was reading it just for the first time, Chris.
is it the first time in forever? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, my mercy. We're there today, huh? That's where we're at. Okay, good. Our friends know.
You know how many people tell me how much they love it when I just will roll one out and you're not expecting it?
Oh, no. Yeah. I know.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So anyway, so it's in 1 Timothy 4. I think it's verse 6. Yeah, it's verse 6 is where it started. This is what kind of stood out to me, and then it caused me to kind of go backwards, if that makes sense.
Yeah, go for it.
It says, For I am already being poured out like a drink offering, and the time for my departure is near. This is Paul writing to Timothy. It's going to be his last letter to Timothy, and he knows that he's about to die. So he says, the time for my departure is near. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing. Anyway, and it goes on, gives him some instructions to Timothy on what to do because he needs some stuff. And what hit me about that verse when I read it was it said, I fought the good fight, I finished the race, I've kept the faith. And that verse specifically. And I was thinking to myself, is that something, is that something I can currently say? Is that something that future me can say? Paul has a unique perspective here because he knows his time is up. We don't all know when our time is up. We don't know when we're about to cross the River Jordan or to die or basically step into eternity. We don't know that. Paul's pretty good. He's certain that this is the time, whether the Lord has told him or in his personal time with him or not, he knows. And he concludes kind of like he wraps his life up in literally one sentence. I've fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith.
Which is, I love that. When you think about him, he's looking at his life. Because yours says, I'm already being poured out as drink offering. The NLT translated translates it as my life has already been poured out as a drink offering. Either way, it's this process of recognizing that he's coming to the end. But as he looks back, he goes, "I run the race. I've fought the good fight." I lost it here. Here we go. I fought the good fight, finished the race, kept the faith. Fought the good fight, finished the race, kept the faith.
Yeah.
Like, I guess my thought is, if you think about his life, it isn't measured by what happened, the poor stuff that happened. It was measured by, what did I do once I recognized Christ? Because if you look at him, he hated Christians. He tried to destroy Christians. Yet here at the end of his life, he doesn't count any of that as part of his life or his legacy. And I just think it's important. I don't know. It just hit me as you're reading that. Of so often, like, I think people look and go, well. There's people who are men and women of faith, and they're going to be able to say that, but I know what I've done, and I've messed up too much, and I still struggle and whatever. Well, he's going, that has nothing to do with this. I've fought the good fight. I kept fighting. Here's the deal.
I fought the fight.
It doesn't say I won the fight yet. He said, I fought the fight, right? I didn't stop fighting. And I think that wherever you are in your race today, don't stop fighting. Don't look and go, I guess this is the way it's always going to be. I guess that, I'm not going to be able to ever overcome this. This is always going to be a struggle. That's all lies from the pit of hell. And Paul would look at you, and I want to look at you and just say, fight. Keep fighting the faith. Do not give up the fight. Because when you get to the end, that's all you have to say. Listen, I fought. I kept fighting. I didn't give up. I finished.
Kept the faith. That's right.
I finised. I didn't look and go, well, there's others who are just going to fight better than me, and I guess I'm just gonna have to look at them and go, well, no. God isn't asking you to compare yourself with anyone else's fight. They're fighting things most of the time that you don't even realize or recognize, and things that aren't even a fight for you. But the reality is that God has called you to fight the fight that He's called you to. Your faith journey, your faith race, to finish the race. And everybody's race is a little bit different, right? There's different seasons, there's different stretches, there's different ups, there's different downs, there's good times, there's tough times, there's some wins along the way, there's some struggles along the way. The reality is it really, none of that really matters. What you want to do is be able to get to the end of the race, look back and go, I didn't stop fighting, I finished. And I've kept the faith. Like, I didn't walk out on my family. I didn't walk out on the church. And look, if you walked out on your family at some point, okay, God forgives and restores. So get it right now. Like, restore.
Get back in the fight.
Like, get back in the fight. Like,
that's right.
It's one of those things of going, the race, the fight is not over. The race is not over. The enemy is going to try to tell you you've done too much, that's over now. It's not. As long as you still have breath in your lungs, you still have a fight to fight. You still have a race to run.
Yeah, well, so it's funny. So we're gonna go in.
Man, I'm preaching this morning, dude. I know. I'm rolling out terrible jokes, and I'm preaching this morning.
And you're preaching, but that's all right, because you're like reading. You're also reading my journal. So
okay.
Let's jump into that real quick.
All right, go for it.
This is what I wrote. I mean, I need my glasses a little bit here.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you ran the marathon first time 25 years ago.
It says, I wrote, I kind of highlighted that verse and said, it initially stuck out as a phrase that I want to be able to say if I even know when my departure for heaven is coming. In other words, I want to be able to say that as I'm exiting this earth and stepping into eternity, right? Paul, this is what I wrote. Paul, he knew he would be with God soon, and his finish line was in sight. And I was like, and then it connected in my mind to the marathon I'm going to run. And I've trained and I've prepared, and I want to kind of pause here with what I was writing, because I think to what you were just saying, I want to connect to some of that marathon of life, so to say.
Yeah.
And just tell a story like what a marathon feels like for those who's never.
Tell me what a marathon feels like, because it's something I will never feel for myself.
And if you have run a marathon, like you can verify this. All right.
Yeah.
You set a date, you pay for the entry, and you get ready to go. And you're like, if you're a good marathon runner, or at least somebody who doesn't want to have a really bad marathon race, you prepare. You start a training plan, you run various runs throughout the week, and then you run a long run on the weekend. It typically culminates with 2 really long runs basically Saturdays back to back, and they typically are like 20-ish miles. Okay. And all marathoners go through this, and
You know,
all
I started
marathoners,
thinking, you know what? Maybe I could do this. Then you said that. I was like, nope, can't do this.
well,
Go ahead.
it culminates. So you
Yeah.
don't start there, right? You
Okay.
start small. Your first
Yeah.
week, you maybe ran that week, you maybe your long run was maybe 5-6 miles.
Hmm.
All right. And then it builds on itself, and then you get like 7 to 10 miles, and it builds on itself, and you get 12 to 15 miles. Then it builds on itself, and it's a over the summer thing, and it kind of culminates into something you really didn't think you could do. You didn't
Hmm.
really think you could do 20 miles,
Right.
and then you do them Saturday to Saturday, and you're like, okay, I guess I can do 20 miles. And I mean, it doesn't feel good. And
It's not
when
my
you
favorite.
yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say I love my long runs,
Yeah.
because those 2 Saturdays you start off thinking, why am I doing this?
Hmm.
Why did I choose to be in a marathon? Like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with me? And so you finish that up, you go, and I did this last night. We went to the expo, we picked up my bib, which is your runner's number, and the fancy shirt and all that other stuff, and you're really excited. There's a lot of excitement in the crowd, and everybody's like nervous but excited. And then you go out on the morning of, and you hope for great weather. We have absolutely amazing weather this weekend. It's perfect,
Hmm.
pristine for a marathon. Okay.
That's awesome.
And you go into the starting corral, and at the Marine Corps Marathon, it's amazing because the Marine Corps fires a cannon to start it, but they fire a cannon to start it right after the V-22s fly over. All right.
Well, okay.
So
V-22 represent. There
V-22s
we
come
go.
flying over. They get done with the flyover, and it goes kaboom, and off we go. Right. You start running, and you're trying not to run too fast. You're trying not to run too slow. You're kind of in your head, you got to go 26 miles. It's fun. It's fun at this point. You're kind of having fun.
Hmm.
There's a lot to see. There's a lot of this and that. You're weaving through people. All of the crowds, the biggest, thickest crowds, are up at the front, kind of in that area as you're running out, because all the spectators, all the families are just trying to get a picture or see their people. And then you get to about, in the Marine Corps Marathon, you get about to the National Mall. Well, just before the National Mall, there's this thing they call the Blue Mile, Chris.
Mhm.
And in the Marine Corps Marathon, at that point, you're like kind of cruising along. You're doing well. You're cruising along. That's only at mile like 10 or 12. You've done 20, so you're like, yeah, you're about halfway, and you're feeling pretty good, feeling confident. The Blue Mile is where they have pictures of folks who've either died in combat or have died in training exercises, military folks. And so you run
Hmm.
by there, and I see some of my friends as I run by, and that is a sad mile for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad even thinking about it right now.
Mhm.
And so you get through that sad moment, and you're like, man, why does the Marine Corps have to be sad in the middle of in the
Yeah.
thing? And you're a little bit of like an emotional wreck, but you're like, okay, I'm going to get through it. I still got to keep moving. And so then you get to the National Mall, basically where the Capitol is, and the little pit, Washington Monument. And that's where Hillary is there to see me. She sees me on one side, and then she runs across the grass and sees me as I'm going back on the other side of
Gotcha.
the mall. And then as you're exiting there, all right, and that's miles like 17 to 19, the next part of the marathon, and everybody knows this part of the marathon, and every marathon is the same at this point, okay? Because about mile 17 to 20, you're going to find out if your preparation actually prepared you for the next 6 miles.
Mm.
Because in the next 6 miles, you hit what's called the runner's wall. The runner's wall is essentially, it is an actual physiological reaction to running for 3 hours. Your body's,
What's the mileage?
it's about 20, somewhere between 17 to 20 miles.
So
For the marathon, 20,
no.
26.
For that, that's what I'm talking. The
Yeah,
wall. Because my
17 to
question
20.
is, do you hit that when you're training?
If you don't do the fueling the right way, you do, because that's
Okay.
the physiological piece of it. The
All right, keep
physiological
going.
piece is your body has enough glycogen stores to keep you moving, like carb type stores, energy to keep you
Yeah.
moving for about 3 hours, which is why it's 17 to 20 for most people, because most people
Gotcha.
hit 17 to 20 in about 3 hours, but 3
Hmm.
hours. So if you're not drinking little packets and taking little goo and drinking Gatorade along the way, which then adds more reserve, more buffer
Right.
to that, then you're going to hit it there. So you try to delay it by eating goos and gels and all that other stuff. So I don't hit it on my training runs because I practice all that on my training runs. But Chris, there is nothing that prepares you for that part of the marathon, especially the Marine Corps one, because from mile 20 to about 22, so for about 2 miles, there's nobody but you and a bridge.
My gosh.
It is so, and you're like
And you're
just
like,
struggling to stay
all
alive.
by
Dude, you were
myself.
alone.
Don't want to
The
be.
first time I ran it, there was some guy that fell face down on the
Oh,
ground, and I'm like,
no.
"You don't want to be him." I talked about that at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're going across that bridge, and you're just trying to stay alive. You're just like,
That sounds horrible,
it's a fight.
Robert.
No, it is not good. It's not good. And then you hit Crystal City, and you're kind of in the end game. You got like 4 miles to go now,
Yeah.
and there's people there again. And that people, it lifts your spirit. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, I think I can do this. I think I can do this. You start doing a lot of weird mental math. Like, never do mental math on a run when you're tired, because you'll never get it right. And then you finish the race. You finish the race, and when you get done, you're like, man, I finished the race. It's this feeling of completion. You just feel like absolute garbage. You've left it all out because you ran 26.2. So there's really nothing left. You fought that fight all the way to the end. You finished
Yeah.
well. And, you take your pictures and the rest, and then you recover as time goes on,
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it when I was looking at this verse, and I was like, fought the good fight, I finished the race, I've kept the faith. And you talked about a little bit when you were talking about how you kept to keep fighting and how life throws you up and down. It's
Yeah.
fun at the beginning. It's kind of like you feel like you're really cruising in the middle. There's some sadness. There's a lot of loneliness.
Yeah.
And then you're like winning again as you come and you bring it home. And it's kind of it comes into this. I look back at Second Timothy 4, and it talks about being prepared, in season and out of season.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I just thought it was very, I don't know, it connected to the scripture so well. The idea of what a kind of how a marathon race aligns to the Christian faith.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. And I think it's interesting because if you go down to 19, verse 19 says, greet Priscilla and Prisca and Aquila. Did you say Prisca or Priscilla?
Mine says Priscilla. It could be seen as Prisca.
Okay, I got both of them.
Anyway,
I got them side by side here.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyway, in the household of Onesiphorus. Erastus remained at Corinth, and I left Trophimus, who was ill at Miletus. Like, he is at the companions he had along the race are no longer with, like, and
he left his friend at mile 15.
Right. Yeah, he did. And then, but the reality is, you're going to have people that you run
him at mile 15. I never thought about that.
I will say this has been a challenge even for me in ministry. Is that God has moved me from time to time. I believe God has me exactly where He wants me today, and I hope I get to be in this role, in whatever. But along the way, God moved me. I was not necessarily looking to move and whatever. Well, I would go and I'd build relationships, and we'd have some friendships built, and then God would move me. And dude, I'm telling you, one of the hardest parts was going somewhere and starting over with relationships and friendships.
It is, for sure.
And it was difficult to find. And what was crazy is I would try to stay in touch with those people that we left, but the reality is they had life went on after I left, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not offended by that, but I had to come to grips with the idea that, hey, the reason that you are still thinking about that relationship is that you haven't formed other new ones yet. They still have their other relationships. They have other people they're running their race with. And so now where you are, you need to start building new relationships, because it may feel like it's tough right now, but even if they were still connected, the reality is you need people who are running your race around you. And this is why being connected in a local church matters.
100%,
is that
man.
You need to dive in and get connected right where you are, because you weren't meant to run the race alone.
Absolutely.
That long bridge where you feel all about by yourself. The reality is that, there might be a stretch of life where you hit that, but you weren't meant to stay on that. I'm going to say that
100%.
again. There might be a stretch of life that you may have to feel like that from time to time. Keep running, but don't believe that it has to stay like that. Get back involved, get in touch, connect with other people in a life group, in a
Dude, it lifts
serving
you up.
in a church.
It lifts you up. There was a marathon I ran. It was going to say like maybe 5 to 7 years ago. And I ran with this random guy from Ohio. I think he was from Ohio, back in the spring. In a race we ran in the spring, and he was trying to get his entire family there. This race gave you automatic entry into the Marine Corps Marathon.
Yeah.
And
you have to qualify for the Marine Corps Marathon?
No, it's just it's hard to get in because they limit entries. So the entries go out fast. So you can get a thing that says, hey, no matter what, you're in. Anyway, I was running next to him. I was like, "Hey, man, you can have my automatic entry. I got a ticket because it's easier for active duty to get in."
Gotcha.
And so he's like, "Okay, cool, Chris, get across the really lonely bridge, get into Crystal City." And it's going not well. The wheels are starting to come off the bus, and I need to get like 2-3 more miles down the road. And who did I run up next to?
The guy who's only from Ohio.
Random guy from Ohio. And we finished that race together. We
How
finished the
did you
race
meet him to begin with?
just running next to him in the race in the spring, and we
Oh,
just
really?
struck up a
Gotcha.
conversation.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, just struck up a conversation. And
How crazy is that? That's cool.
right, and to your point that we weren't meant to be alone for long, like forever, because there may be stretches. Like that bridge was still super lonely. The Crystal City was not going well. And as I'm coming into the final 2-3 miles and the wheels are coming off my bus, I run up next to him. The wheels are coming off his bus. And by the way, wheels coming off your bus for runners means like you're slowing down, and walking is not out of the mind, not out of the question at this point.
Yeah.
And I come up next to him. He is in the same boat as I am. And Chris, we linked up, we ran, we finished together, and our pace, our actual final few miles were equivalent to some of our first miles.
That's awesome.
Because of that friendship, that relationship.
Because it fuels it, right? You run better together. The other thing I would say is, Robert, I know that we laugh because you left Fred in the dust. But there's something about that though, Robert. If you think about it spiritually, there's going to be times in life that the people that you've been running with may not be the people you need to keep running with because they're not wanting to run the race anymore. They're not wanting. And if
Sorry, Fred.
And I'm not saying Fred's a good guy. He loves Jesus. Right? This is not. This is not a reflection on his spiritual race at all.
Fred know that this has got a lot of him in it. No, but you're right.
But the reality is that I see it in life all the time. Is that you have these great friendships and these great relationships, but sometimes those great friendships and those great relationships, if they are not wanting to run the race spiritually, then you need to go find someone who wants to run the race spiritually. That guy from Ohio, he was ahead of you, right? You caught up to him, and then you together continue running. Hey, it may be that you need to run ahead and see who God puts in your path that you can run in stride with and
finish the race with. Like, don't think that if you leave them behind that you'll be alone the rest of the time. God will give you the person at the right time to help you finish strong. And so, and it may mean that you have to go looking for it. Yeah.
You have to be open for it. Just because you had to leave a friend behind in the past doesn't mean that you can't trust the new friends in the future to run with you. You have to be open and recognize that everybody's in a different place in the race. Fred finished. He just finished at a different time, a different way, right? And he would probably tell you, "Hey, I should have trained."
And we both fell asleep on the metro together.
Yeah, there you
side
go.
by side. We looked like Forrest Gump and his friend leaning against each other on the metro. We looked like a bunch of homeless folks. Hey, the only thing that I wanted to catch, I want to correlate because it hit me this morning too, is not as bad as I'm gonna hurt you.
Go ahead.
Was the idea that my first marathon, remember I told you I only ran like 3 miles in preparation.
Yeah.
And it was a real train wreck, honestly. I ran it for me, I ran it in like 4.5 hours. And that's not horrible. A lot of people, that's kind of what they want to run. But for me, that was untrained, unplanned. I just really wasn't kind to my body that day.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually I even got injured on that one. I forgot. I had an injury that lasted for about 6 months on that one. And then when I went to run my next marathon, which was years later, I was like, you know what? I should probably prepare for this one. I should be prepared. And the marathons that Chris, I have prepared for and not gotten sick just the day prior, those marathons, those are the ones that I execute, still have all of the emotions and the rest, but I execute with a little bit more skill and it's a little bit easier and it allows me to finish and not feel like I want to just totally die. And I was thinking about that in light of the fact that Paul, when he's talking to Timothy,
mm-hmm.
and it made me kind of go back, and I talked about it here as verse 2. He's telling Timothy, he's like, preach the word, be prepared in season and out of season, correct, rebuke, and encourage with great patience and careful instruction. And he goes on, he says, for the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. Instead, they'll, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear.
Yeah.
And my point, it kind of gets to what you're just saying, right? If somebody's not want to run the race the right way, then you might have to push on beyond them. But part of that, part of pushing on beyond them, or part of going on or running that race well, is the preparation.
Yeah.
And, we talk about that as far as like how we, we're just telling you like what we do each week when we read the Bible, that we're looking at God's word and we're saying, hey, what do you want me to know? And what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And then he brings phases of life, seasons of life into her path. And some are fun because it's the beginning. Some feel pretty, normal, like we're cruising because we really fell into our pace. Some can be sad, some are lonely, and the rest. But the preparation that's been put into it, the preparation for like body, soul, spirit, it matters. It makes a difference. And in fact, it will be the difference in running a race that you regret
Right.
and a race that you don't regret. And I think when we're talking about the Christian life, he wants us to be prepared. He wants us to be prepared in season and out. So he's not just asking us to run the race.
Yeah.
And like, okay, run the race, good luck. He's saying, hey, run the race and but be prepared. Like, go do the work, go do the preparation. Like, make sure you know how to defend your faith. Make sure you know what the word says. Make sure you have an actual relationship with the Lord, that you're walking daily with him, because he's going to fill you up. That is preparation.
Yeah. That's good stuff, dude. Yeah. That's that pursuing Jesus to know him. Not to get validation for your own way of living, but to say, God, I want you to train me up. I want you to show me how to run this race. Not, God, will you, for race purposes, will you just multiply my desire to only run about 15 minutes a day and make it where I can run hard? That wouldn't work. But if we're going to the Lord and saying, God, what does it look like for you to train my heart up for the race that you have ahead of me? God, I recognize that I want to be able to say those things that we talked about, that he said. I fought the good fight. I finished the race. I kept the faith. I fought the good fight. I fought the good fight. I finished the race. I kept the faith. Like, to me, dude, I think I've had a lot of people ask me, my life verse, and just recently, I don't know why everybody's asking this, but the reality is I have several, and I always struggle. But like, as I read that, I'm
my
like,
favorite verse is, and then I name like 50 verses.
I know, so it's right. Like, I love a lot. So it always seems like it depends on the season of life. If you're a friend of me
and you know me, you'll know I say, oh, my favorite verse is, before I say pretty much every verse I say.
Yes. But I love that one. Like, I start going, maybe that's my life verse, is that my life verse is that at the end of my life, I'll be able to say that. I fought the good fight. I finished the race. I kept the faith. Like that's, so how do I do that? Through preparation, through daily, just sitting with the Lord and saying, God, if there's anything in my life that you want to change, like, I don't want to be offended by your truth. I want to be transformed by your truth. So God, will you show me your truth, and will you let it transform the way I live? Because that's how I finish the race. That's how I fight the good fight. That's how I keep the faith.
Amen.